Oh, you're wicked. You're a wicked beast. I'll tell you.
Okay, so looks like we are in fact live a mento. Yes, we are.
You're a wicked beast. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Okay, so looks like wait a minute. We are in fact live. Okay, and let's record it. Record on this. All right.
All
So,
right.
so we'll just call it the latest happenings in the Google and YouTube world or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
I can only see half your face, which is probably a good thing.
That's right. Oh, are we actually showing our faces today?
Yeah, I'm streaming on. Yeah, we show
Oh,
our
I
faces
better be
today.
careful then. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. If you say so.
Anytime you're ready.
All right. I'm ready. I'm so ready. So ready. Look at this little ducktail going on here.
Yeah,
Up with that.
yeah.
Give me some scissors. All right. Here we go. In five, four. Wait, hold on. Since we're on camera, let's use our magic.
Oh yeah, you got what Roku in the background there.
Yeah. You can see I set everything back up again. We were going to be moving the offices around and all this, and I broke everything down. Nothing's ever happened, so I just put it all back the other day.
Okay.
Although you may notice the TV here is missing the feet. I don't know what happened to the feet of the TV.
Oh, maybe they ran off.
Ran off on his own.
Sorry it's taking so long to get going, but I blame Ray.
That's right. It's me. It's
I'll
me
put when it
going
starts
down the
show
TV
notes.
as I run away. Uh, Video
There
marketing
we go.
madness
That's
powered
cool.
by Movo. All right. We love Movo and all the fine people over there at Movo.
Okay, hit it.
All right. In five, four, three. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to hit all the new things going on in the world of video and YouTube. And we're even going to talk a little bit about podcasting. So be ready for that. And of course, everything that we do today is made possible by our good friends at Movo. Movo creates all the great things that you need when you're recording things like videos and podcasts, because they'll make those microphones, lights, stands, and a whole lot more for a whole lot less. In fact, you can turn your smartphone into a full editing system or video, excuse me, not editing, but video shooting system by simply heading on over to raysuggests.com/Movo and check out all the great things that they have available right now. And with that, let's hit the music.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray, the video guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. And we've got some updates this week. It's gotten to the point where we do the show once a month now. We were
Oh,
probably once a week for the first however many years, long time.
yeah, we got to get better. We've just been lazy is the problem.
Yeah, well, and we got a lot of work too. I mean, I'm kind of swamped, so that's part of the problem. But
That is
lazy plays a part of it. There's no doubt about it. Well, hey, let's get into it. And what I've got are a bunch of updates that are very interesting in the world of YouTube and Google and all that kind of stuff. And here's one that I saw in a radio industry publication called Radio Online, and it's radio-online.com. I used to play radio at one time years ago, and I still kind of pay attention to it. So this one caught my eye. Report YouTube most accessed destination for podcasts. And when you talk about radio or the pubs, they're covering podcasts big time. For the 12th edition of the podcast download series, Cumulus Media, a little background on them. They started off in a bunch of small and medium-sized markets, and then they bought the ABC stations, and they went bankrupt and emerged from bankruptcy.
Yes, and
And
they also own some TV stations in some of
yep,
the
yeah.
medium-sized markets, and they've done a lot. In fact, I used to actually work for them for a brief period of time.
Oh, did you?
Uh, One of the TV stations that I worked at was purchased by them, and so yeah, for a brief time.
Yeah, okay. You're familiar with them. So, Cumulus Media and Signal Hill Insights retained Maru, M-A-R-U, Maru Matchbox to conduct an in-depth study of 603 weekly podcast consumers from April 19th through the 24th, 2024. Two studies were conducted annually. The spring 2024 report highlights trends from prior studies and examines topics such as platform preferences, content trends, perceptions of brand safety, and content appropriateness, and more. This week's Cumulus Media One Audio Active Group blog analysis in that blog, and that this goes back a couple of weeks, July 8th. YouTube is the most accessed destination for podcasts. That's what they say in the blog. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I call that into question. I'm not.
Well,
It seems like
look,
that can't possibly be truly. It sounds like one of those at midnight on Tuesdays, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
well, they give the rationale, and according to the rationale that they use for this, it's the most access. YouTube is the most utilized podcast listening platform in the United States. 31% of that sample size says the platform they use the most, followed by Spotify and Apple. So 31% YouTube, Spotify 21%, Apple 12%.
I just,
Which,
I call that into question. So many people listen to podcasts in their car while they're jogging, while they're
well,
mowing
true.
the lawn. I can't believe that those numbers actually play out. Maybe people are saying that, but I can't imagine that would be the case. I really can't.
Well, of course, it's not YouTube, it's YouTube Music that they're
Right.
accessing it through.
Yeah, okay, I guess, but
YouTube is used most among podcast newcomers, podcast pioneers, and heavy podcast consumers. YouTube podcast audience profile, male and younger, than the Apple podcast audience. Some sort of typo there. I don't quite get that. As the world's entertainment search engine, YouTube is the dominant podcast discovery platform where audiences are more likely to find podcasts. And again, they don't say YouTube Music, which that's got to be what it is. What you do is if you want to turn something into a podcast, you just put in a playlist, and then you take the playlist and say, and this is in YouTube,
click a button.
I want it to be a podcast, and then you got to make a badge for it, like everything else. But then they give you an RSS feed that you can feed out to all the other podcatchers if you wish. Those who discover a podcast on YouTube say they stick with the platform for video, comments, community entertainment recommendations, and platform features. And this is where I start to tend to agree with Ray, is because podcasting really is passive. It's people listening in their car. You don't have to watch it. But anyhow, the YouTube podcast audience is not exclusively tied to the platform. Watching and listening to podcasts are equally favored. So just the audio part of it. And I've got a podcast I on YouTube Music that is just an audio podcast. I uploaded everything to it's actually on Video Marketing Madness, made a podcast and made a playlist, made it into a podcast, fed it out to YouTube Music. And it gets a few.
It is the easy way to do it.
Yeah, it is. It is the easy way to do it. There's no doubt about that. Podcast newcomers are more likely to prefer actively watching podcast videos. Those who begin listening to podcasts 4 years ago favor the audio only experience. All right.
I can go either way. Just depends, I guess.
Yeah, and the reason I favor the audio only experience is because I'm going for my walk or I'm in the car or something like that. That's
Right.
when I listen to podcasts. YouTube dominates association as the platform where podcasts can be watched and heard. And again, as Ray said, it's easy because you upload your stuff, you make a playlist, you tell you want to be a podcast, you upload a badge, then they give you an RSS feed that you can put out to Apple and Spotify and iHeart and whomever else. Not all genres work for watchable podcasts. Consumers who prefer the watch are more likely news, current events, and sports podcasts. Okay. There's a lot of qualifications on this thing. Among those who prefer to listen, true crime is the leading podcast genre.
It's the leading podcast genre on every platform, I think.
Yeah, probably. The vast majority of the Apple and Spotify platform audience uses the smartphone, while 38% of YouTube's podcast audience uses laptops and TV. So it's kind of just a different animal altogether, but it's worth noting. And I think to kind of go along with what you said, they qualify that a lot. There's a whole lot of different points that say, well, it's not for people who only want to listen to audio. It's this, it's not that. It's this, it's not that. And but they talked about the sample size, so that's interesting, I guess.
True, very true.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. What do we got next? What do we got?
From search engine land, Google streamlining YouTube display ad content controls. It's removing several content label exclusions for YouTube and restricting some filters to the account level. Several content label exclusions will be removed, and these are sort of like almost code. Embedding YouTube videos, live streaming, and families exclusions only available account-wide, not per YouTube campaign. Many topic-based exclusions still offered at campaign and ad group levels. Why we care, the updates could have implications for brand suitability, campaign targeting strategies, and ultimately return on ad spend on YouTube and display platforms that advertisers want to get ahead of. Why it matters, the updates aim to simplify Google's array of brand suitability controls. Key details, changes impact both existing and new campaigns created after September. No action required, and Google's core ad policies prohibit violative content remain in place, which I know about because I've run afoul with that with criminal defense. But
they still have a very big issue with that. That's one of the things they really need to streamline down because, I mean, who advertises on their platforms? Lawyers advertise like crazy on there, but every time you run out, you and I, we've got a few different clients that we have to deal with that run ads. And every single time I go into an ads account with one of the lawyers, YouTube has flagged an image, they've flagged a headline for no reason other than it mentioned, commission of a crime in an advertisement. Well, they're criminal defense lawyers. Of course, they're going to mention a commission of a crime. You can't avoid that. And then I have to appeal it and hope that they, whatever. I mean, it doesn't really affect things too badly. Usually, you've got 10 headlines in there and 2 of them get flagged. So you still got 8 headlines that it's rotating. So it's not like a big deal, but it's still kind of annoying. It's like, come on, guys, really? How can you not figure this out? You're a multi-billion-dollar company, one of the biggest companies on planet Earth, and you can't figure out that a criminal defense lawyer is going to mention the crime in an advertisement? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, for my attorneys, and I want to add more attorneys to this list, but you handle the Google Ads Performance Max.
So if you're an attorney in the area listening right now.
Yeah, if you're within the sound of my voice, Um, call the police because I'm locked in the studio. That was a joke back. I don't know whose album that was on, um, but you get into, I don't know what else to call it other than a lot of granularity. I'm always sort of amazed by the requests I get from you as far as media that you need. You need JPEGs, you need videos, you need this, you need that, you need a lock of their hair. And I'm amazed at the platforms that this runs across.
Right.
Now, as far as what I do with the FAQ videos I do with attorneys, and I do those primarily to get the Google business profile posts and then just backlink it to the video. But when they're interviews, they're worth getting some views, unlike the slideshow videos. I mean, they got some meat to them. And
Yep.
so, I just tell an attorney, pick an area that you want to dominate, and that's what we'll go after. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. If you've ever just placed straight YouTube videos for views, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I still get some banned from time to time, and trying not to. Now, they used to let me do criminal defense, and then it's been with the last couple of months that was a no-go. And I don't know why it was just in the last couple of months, but they were letting me do it. So, and there's probably way more to that story than I remember right now, but
Probably, but what are you going to do?
But I'm very simplified compared to what you do. Okay, Google Ads, and this probably, well, it doesn't apply to anything we do, and it doesn't probably apply to anybody listening or watching this podcast because we're all small businesses, and
Oh yeah, I know what you're gonna.
I mean, $500 to $750 a month, that we're handling, but Google's going to phase out card payments for the high spending advertisers. So this is going to apply to somebody like Tommy Powers that does, I don't know, Revlon and Colgate Palmolive, and I don't know that those are
And
ones,
from
but,
what I've seen, every time I turn on YouTube, all of a sudden Kamala Harris as well.
oh well, and yes, and of course they've got to pay up front, or at least that's how it used to be when I was in radio. The politicians had to pay up front because
I wonder why that is.
yeah, it probably still is. So some of these high value guys, they're going to have to be direct debit from their checking accounts. So that's kind of interesting. I can remember back in the day with a lot of things that I did as far as media buys is, hey man, you okay if I pay you when I get paid? And mostly everybody was okay because I got paid like clockwork and I paid them like clockwork. Well, you can't do that anymore. You can't do it with Google, that's for sure. They don't care. I miss the old I have a degree in mass communications, but there's no such thing anymore. But I miss the old mass communication days.
Well, and that's one of the reasons, by the way, that you and I and me as well, I won't pay anybody's ads account. They've got to put their card on file.
Yes.
That it comes, the ad pricing comes from that. Because the last thing that we want is, to pay their $1,000 bill and then they don't pay us and we're out $1,000. So for me, it's always been, now we'll manage your ad. You're going to pay us the fees, but you're going to have your card on file and Google's going to charge your card. So if it doesn't get paid, it's not going to, it's not going to be on us.
Right. Right. Which reminds me, I got to go back and do an audit and make sure you got paid your commissions. I was working on something the other day and I went, oh crap, I haven't paid them yet this month, so I'm normally pretty good at, remember I sent you an email last week and said,
yes. Oh, I thought you meant now. I'm like, you just paid me, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, I
You
just
can pay
paid
me
you,
again. I don't
but
mind. It's fine.
every now and then I go back and do an audit, and I can just go into Quicken and make sure I paid you monthly, and if
Yeah.
I haven't, I can.
Steve and I are very organized and thorough, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Because he'll be like, "Did I pay you last month?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Did
I can't
I?
remember.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and it occurs to me that maybe
Well, you
anything,
never.
huh?
You probably owe me for about 10 months, so just send it over and we'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah. Just send a Google Maps pin scam, a new business
Oh,
profile
nothing better
threat.
than a good Google Maps scam.
Yeah, well, they've shut down a lot of them. Morgan and Morgan, the PI attorneys, they opened up listings in every town. Those are
Now,
gone.
wait. Let's verify. Do we know that it was actually them?
Well, I haven't
Because
seen
the
them. I
story
haven't seen
originally
them.
was an attorney.
Well, we don't know that it's actually them. However, I went out and Googled all the markets where I have customers and where I saw them before. I don't see them now. So just that, I'm not saying they shut them all down, but it sounds like it.
What it is they did, yeah, they shut down a whole bunch of lawyers that didn't actually have offices in all the cities that they said they had them in. Somebody was making these accounts all over the country for a lawyer. We don't actually know who it was. Please don't sue us. But yeah, there's been speculation as to which law firm that might be.
Well, I'm speculating it's Morgan and Morgan, and I could be wrong. But again, where they were, they're not there on the queries that I've done, which is about 12 different markets. So anyhow,
So current
you know,
scam.
take that with a grain of salt if you think, but the subheadline, and this is a good one to read through the whole thing. Understand how this deceptive practice affects rankings and learn the safe way to correct your listing's location. Competitors can move Google Maps pins to a new location, which can negatively impact rankings. This has been happening for several months and impacted many Google business profile listings. It's easy for scammers to make this change using the suggest and edit feature on Google Business Profile and then editing the map location. We ran into something else too along those lines. We'll talk about it after I read these. When the map pin is moved to the new location, Google thinks the business is no longer in the location it was before, so the ratings can tank. Why is this a problem for you? Well, that's pretty obvious. Google doesn't notify the owners and managers. This happens, so unless you're specifically looking for this change, you may not realize you're no longer getting calls. If you've been hit by this scam, you cannot simply go to your Google Business Profile and reposition your PIN to correct it. To fix the issue, click the Suggest and Edit button on Google Business Profile. Click Change Name or Other Details. Click Edit Map Location. Drag the map until the PIN is in the correct location and click Save. So we should all look at that's a big one. We should all look at that.
And not just that, but just in general, make sure check your email often for any communications from Google. Check your listings often because I'm not gonna give out details because I don't want anyone getting any bad ideas that happens to hear this. But there are ways for people to hijack your listing. And if they do, the only way you stop them is by answering Google when they say, hey, so-and-so wants to, make a change or whatever. So pay close attention because somebody could come and they could take over your stuff and boom, that's the end of it. So just pay close attention.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a story that ran on a TV station in Detroit about that. And it just turned out that they weren't checking their emails. They got an email from Google, thought it was spam and never checked it. And that, it happened to a number of different businesses. And then whoever did it was calling to say, I can fix it for you, for $250 or whatever. So yeah, that's a scam.
There's a lot of those scams going around. I've got a guy right now. It's very strange on Alexa. If you asked Alexa and I just triggered everybody who's listening is now getting messages from Alexa. You could say, Alexa, get me the number for, and you could say his business, and a totally different business would show up. So you go, here's the number for, and they would say a totally different business and give that number. And they finally got somebody that specifically was able to fix that and help them with that. And now on Siri, now I just did it to myself here. It was doing the same thing. All of a sudden, you would say their name, get me the number for such and such, and it would show, and it was the same other business. It would show this other business every single time. And it did it. We did it on Alexa, and now it does it on Siri.
Wow.
So you can't tell me it's an accident.
No. So it's just something to be aware of. I will post the link to that article. I think that one's necessary. I think the other three, it's you've got it. You know what it is. I don't know that you can use it. It's just good information to have. But that one is something you can use.
News you can use.
News you can use. So how's things been on your end?
Not too bad. We've got we made some changes to some things. So our Main Street marketing channel that we have, or Main Street business strategies channel that we have, we're starting to release a lot of free trainings on there. We've kind of changed direction of how we're doing things now, because quite honestly, some of the marketplaces that we do a lot of work in, it's just way too much scam and fraud going on there now to, do a lot of promoting of products on there. Yeah, the ones that I know are legit, and from people that I know are legit, we still deal with, but cutting way back on that just because of all the scams and fraud and phony things and things that sound great, and then 2 weeks later, they after you buy it, the thing's shut down and they're gone.
Oh, the affiliate thing, is that what?
Yeah, all of that stuff. So what we're doing now is rather than putting a course up online and charging X amount of dollars for a course, we'll still do some of that, but for the most part, I'm putting all of that content, I'm going to release it directly onto YouTube with the idea that, hey, you know what? We'll get an audience and it'll get paid for with advertising, and we'll make just as much money constantly teaching people the things that we would teach anyway, rather than just having a sale and working with affiliates all the time and trying to get affiliates and all that kind of stuff. Because I think there's more people that want to learn that maybe, even if it's an inexpensive product, they don't want to spend $50, $40, $100. They just can't do it. But if it's free on YouTube and all they have to do is watch an ad here and there,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a better way to go. And in the end, I think it'll make more money for us, because we've got some channels that make some pretty good money on YouTube. So that just convinced me that, rather than running around like a crazy person, why not just put the stuff out there for free and, collect the ad revenue. Now, there's one caveat to that, of course. That Main Street business strategies channel that we created was not monetized yet. So, right now when I do it, we're not getting anything for anything, but it'll hopefully build up an audience. So we've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Right now, the series that I've been pushing is the Google Business Profile training series that we did. So if you need to learn about Google Business Profiles, well, you can go there. The entire series is there. Even a video on the messaging, which is going away, sadly, but the training on it's there if you want to learn about it before it goes away in a couple of weeks. You can certainly do that. But it has trainings on everything inside the Google Business Profile, from setting it up to optimizing it to doing all the products and the services and the pictures and the updates and all of that kind of stuff. If you ever wondered how to do it, it's all right there. You can go through, you can learn the whole thing and really build your business up with that. And we'll be putting a lot more content up there. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video on a really cool new site that I just got my hands into, which is a free site even. And what it does is it'll take a still image. And you know how on Facebook you can when you upload an image, sometimes it lets you do that 3D thing, and it just gives you that kind of
Oh,
weird
yeah, right,
effect.
right, right.
This will actually do that with a real photo. It'll use the AI built into it. It'll turn it into a multi-layered thing, and it'll animate it and make a video for you even. So you can actually use that. So it's great for if you're doing a video and you've got a still image, but you want to add some life to that image, run it through this program, and boom, now you can just put that back in there. And instead of just a still image, now you kind of got that, parallax effect going on, and, zooming in on whatever, and multi-layered. So it just turns a simple image into a really cool little video section instead. So
cool.
I'm doing video on that. And again, that one is, I want to say completely free. It's not completely free. You can always upgrade to get more points so that you can do more of them, but it's basically, you could use it completely for free if you wanted to. You don't ever have to pay them. But of course, if you want to use it more than they give you for free, you can always pay to get extra. But, as is, just a great program.
So what you're doing then with the Main Street business strategies is you're, instead of selling an affiliate course on how to maximize Google business profiles, you're putting it out there for free and taking the ad revenue. Or
that is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That is correct. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean we won't promote things. Like we've been promoting, our good friend Jean Calenda, who you and I were talking about earlier. She actually just released one of her business packs for pest control, and it comes with a bunch of the social media graphics and the posts to use, and it's got some free reports on pest control, and the emails and all the trainings on how to run ads for them, and graphics for the ads for those things. So it's a very cool program. So we started promoting that,
Yeah.
we, she's very good at that, and we love her stuff. So we always,
well, and these, you've got quite a few people and trust that develop affiliate products and roll them out, like Gene, and so you can work with those. But then, yeah, I can see why, if you don't know who they are, you want to avoid it, anymore. Too much hassle.
Yeah, because we've, so many times I've been personally, what would the word be? I don't know if duped is the right word, but like suckered in by not really shiny object syndrome, but a software that's like, oh, this is really cool. It does X, Y, and Z. That's great. And you use it for a little while, and then all of a sudden it disappears. We had one program, which fortunately these guys have fixed it, but we've had this happen a couple of times. It's a really good business level QR code generation system that creates your QR codes and stores them for you and does all these great things. And then all of a sudden you go to one day and it's just gone, like the whole website and everything. Fortunately, it was a mistake and they fixed it. But, I'm getting messages from people because I told them, hey, you should check it out. And I got people that I work with in the business industry are like, hey, what's going on? This thing's gone. I'm like, yeah, I know. I already told them. And because the one thing about that is whenever it goes down, I always know because I'm using the program. So before they can ever complain to me that, hey, what's going on with these guys? It's not working again. I already know, and I've already told them because I use it all the time. So it's, but these things happen. But other programs that we've done, there was I remember back, there was a really, really good program that it would put out videos onto YouTube for you automatically through the live player. So you'd take a video that you created, and instead of just uploading it to YouTube, you would put it into this program. This program would live stream it out, because back then when you did a live stream, it got you a lot more views than just uploading a video. So it would live stream it out and then turn it into a regular video afterwards, and you put in all your information and all that. And then all of a sudden one day it just stopped working, and then it was gone.
Huh.
And I've asked the guy, hey, what's going on with it? No response. And then 6 months later, he'll hit me up. Hey, I've got this new program I want you to promote. And I'm like, and I told him straight up, I'm like, I'm not going to promote this program because where'd the other one go?
Yeah, right.
It's gone, and people bought that one. And, I never hear back from them on that. And they just kind of vanish into the night, and everybody else promotes their new product and they make $1 million, and then they probably screw those people over.
Yeah,
happens all the time. And I'm sick and tired of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I can see why.
It's not good. So, I'm going to stick with the people that I know and love, and that I know are going to treat people well, that have been around forever. Todd Gross and Cyril Gupta and Karthik Ramani, and all the Chad Nicely when he puts out stuff, and all those guys that we can trust. Gene, just people that I know aren't going to be gone a week later.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. If it was a training course, it's like, hey, download this training on how to do X. Well, I don't care if they disappear, 2 days later, because as long as you got your training, you've got it forever. It's not like it's something you need to access all the time. You've got it on your computer. You can look at it whenever you want. If they disappear, well, that's fine. But with all the SaaS software and stuff, it's way too risky right now.
Yeah.
I look back at look at the softwares that I thought were really good. I still use to this day, and they're still around. They're still promoting them. They're still updating them. They're still using them. Convertri and Everlesson, and now Letterman and Thumbnail Blaster, Lead Kahuna, all those types of software. They've been around forever. Lead Kahuna is probably the most updated software I have ever used. Every time I turn the thing on, it's like, oh, we got to do an update. Oh no. Because that particular program, it takes a long time to load for whatever reason. There's a lot in that little program. There's a lot in there. So when you restart it, it takes minutes and minutes and minutes before it's back up again. But they are constantly updating that program. So those are the types of people that I want to continue to promote, because they make great software that is still around. And if it's not around, it's because they made something better out of it. I used to tell people all the time about Easy Links, an amazing program for shortening links and all that. Well, now that program is technically gone, but it's gone because they created Poplinks. Poplinks is 10 times better, is attached to 100 other pieces of software, and the people that had Easy Links can just move over to Poplinks, and it's so much better. So those are the types of things that I trust, and those are the types of people that I trust, and I'm just not going to play around with any of the garbage anymore. I mean, I used to promote. Do you remember the days, Steve, years ago? I used to promote a new product every single day. I would review and promote a product every single day. Right. The reason I stopped doing that was, one, it was a lot of work for no reason. And quite honestly, you can make more money promoting a good program over 5 days than 5 different programs over 5 days, which, I was just too naive to know that at the time. But it was tough to find a good product every day. It was just it got really hard. And now it's gotten hard to do it. I was down to where I would do like maybe 6 programs a month, and I'm not doing that anymore. It's probably going to be more like 2 or 3 a month, and sometimes none. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or a rehash of something that's been around forever that's not going anywhere. Like I would do, if I had people that I thought would buy Lead Kahuna now, that hadn't already bought it, I would do that again, just because why not? It's there. It's powerful. I still make commissions off of that. I still sell that to people all the time. And it's one that I would always promote because it's, the best of the best.
Oh, it is. Oh, absolutely. It's fabulous, especially for local marketing. It's a good way to scrape leads, tell them a little something about what they're doing, and say, give them an offer, and those kind of things.
And like, like with Jean's thing, I was excited to graph. Thankfully, she gives me access to those things so I can get my hands on them, which is good because I use that stuff a lot.
What's her name again? Jean
Kolenda, Kolenda. And she's she calls herself the internet marketing grandma because she's in her 70s. And she makes all this great stuff, and she's got a ton of local clients. And her thing has always been, you don't need to charge $3,000 to a lawyer and work 20 hours a week for them, to get things done. She works with all these local businesses doing the social media posting stuff. It's all automated. It's all beautiful graphics and posts. It's all automated, and she only charges, $200 to $300 per client. Yeah. But you get 100 of those clients, and it's all automated.
Right.
How can you go wrong with that? That's amazing.
No, you can't. As long as the automation works.
As long as the automation works. Yeah. And here's the thing, though. There's 20 different automation tools out there. So if one of them stops working, you just go to another one. It's not that big a deal because you're not buying the automation. You're buying all the content. So it's up to you to do that. But there are free automation tools even, If you want to do just Facebook, you can do it right inside the Meta Business Suite and do it to Facebook and Instagram right there. Doesn't cost you anything.
Right. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Who helped make this fine episode of Video Marketing Madness possible?
This episode was made possible by our good friends over at Movo. That's right, Movo. Yeah. So speaking of Movo, before we get out of here, though, they've got some cool stuff as always, but One of the things that I talked about a little while back was their I've got some of their wireless microphone systems.
Right.
And the one that I originally had was this big case about this big, and you got the big box that you put in your pocket and the microphone, and it's fantastic. Really, really, really good. Well, then they came out with a new wireless system, which is tiny, tiny. Let's see, what do we got there? Yeah, Steve's got the stand.
So this is just a cheap $15 tripod from a million years ago. I got the tripod, the holder. What do you call this up here?
It's the was it the GR1 or
Yeah. And then
something like that?
in
I
this
can never
little
remember.
pouch right here, I've got the $15 microphone hanging on the
Yep.
side of it that I bought from Movo. That sounds fabulous. And this works wonderful for me. I just go in
Yeah.
an office and set it up with my phone, and boom, we're ready to go.
Well, they came out with a much smaller wireless microphone setup. It comes in a little box, and it's like like the Apple AirPods. The box has a battery in the box, so
Oh, yeah.
the actual microphone, wireless microphone, has a rechargeable battery in it, and the box has a rechargeable battery in the box. So when you put the microphone in the box, it recharges the actual thing. Even if you're not plugged in, it recharges, and then you plug it in every once in a while to recharge the box inside the battery. But battery inside the box, there we go. That's what I wanted to say that. So you kind of always have great battery in order to do. I mean, you could be shooting for days, with that pack and never see electricity, and you'd be fine. But now they've just come out with an even smaller one, which is really tiny, which I actually bought back a while ago. I did a review of a wireless microphone setup that I bought from China, and it was $7. And it was a little tiny wireless microphone that you put on. And I shouldn't say little tiny. The whole unit is little and tiny, but the one thing I don't like about them is they look like a giant lapel mic. I know you've probably seen them. There's a lot of companies that make them, and Movo makes one now too.
I've seen those, yeah.
So it's bigger than a lapel mic, but that's the whole thing. That's the wireless unit and everything in one piece. Well, Movo just came out with a small one like that, and the great thing is it's like $32. So you can get this wireless setup for only $32. So that is fantastic. I have not personally used it yet. Yeah, $32.95, the Mini DI, and then they had the DI Duo, which comes with two of the microphones. So you get the receiver and you get two microphone transmitters. So yeah, you put that on. It's a little bit bigger than a lapel microphone, but it's very easy to carry around, and it plugs right into your smartphone. Just USB, just pops into the bottom of it, and that's it. So you got two little units, and it does a great job. $32.95 and $59.95 if you want the Duo version. I mean, how do you beat that? It's a lot more than the $7 Chinese one, but the $7 Chinese one didn't sound that great. So this, I'm sure, will sound a whole lot better.
I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers using that microphone now. A lot.
Oh yeah. This, like I said, every company on planet Earth seems to make that one now. Branded companies, off-brand companies, they all make those things, but we trust the Movo stuff. And for $32, how can you go wrong anyway? But yeah, you could probably find one of the knockoff ones out there for $15, or in my case, I think it was $7. But are you really getting anything decent? The one I got from China, I would use it in a pinch, but it wasn't fantastic. Like, it sounded okay, but whenever you said the letter S, it was like,
yeah,
every single time. So it really crushed the S's on when you do that. So I would trust Movo a lot more for that. And $32, come on, really? Who can't afford that? That's an amazing price for that. So I would check it out. And of course, if you can't afford that, you can get the little lavalier like Steve showed you there for what I think sometimes they even have it as little as like $14, but usually
that's what I got it for. It was $14.
Yep.
It just looks like a little lavalier. Here, I'll get it out.
Yeah, they've got one that plugs directly into your smartphone. They've got ones that have, if you've got an older iPhone, you can plug it in directly with Lightning. They got one of those. But the one that I always buy, and I don't know if you did, Steve, or not, I buy the regular one with just the old phone port, because then, yeah, exactly what you've got there, because you can use an adapter to plug it into your phone. You can, if you've got an iPhone with Lightning, you can get the
Oh,
Lightning
you
adapter.
can't you can't see it until I talk, but here it is.
Yes, yes.
And it comes with the windscreen. Without the windscreen, that's what it looks like.
And it's a
Uh,
fantastic
and
microphone.
I already had the adapter, so I just got the pin plug. And
And what I
it's
I
great.
like
It's
about
got an
that one,
18. You know what I really like about it? It's got an 18-foot cord.
yes, it's got a very long cord. In fact, too long sometimes. But
It
the
works.
great thing is you can get the one that plugs directly into your phone, but I like the one that has the mini phone plug because you can plug that into a DSLR, you can plug that into a camcorder, and you can also get the adapter and plug it into USB-C or Lightning or what have you. So anyway, all of this to say, Movo, they got everything that you need, and you can head on over there by going to raysuggests.com/Movo and check it out. And Steve, did I tell the story about the Ray Suggests website?
The racing jets.
Ray Suggests.
Oh, Ray suggests.
raysuggests.com/Movo. We used to
Um,
have rayslinks.com,
yeah. And you
but
didn't wasn't renewed.
I didn't have the automated renewal on there. And when I went to renew it, somebody stole it.
Yeah, I knew that.
I mean, they stole it like day one, like they were sitting there waiting.
That's weird.
Yeah, drives me crazy.
Anyhow,
And you know what? I had a couple others that I let expire. Those got bought out too, and I looked, and they were all bought from the same country. It was like in Switzerland or Sweden or somewhere. Somebody in that country bought all my old things as they expired. Very weird. So somebody is
Yeah.
monitoring somewhere along the line, I guess. I don't know.
I guess, yeah, I guess. Well, and there's a way to monitor or there's a way to buy expired domains,
There
and they
is,
have
yes.
some authority and things, and somebody's probably got a monitor software for that as soon as stuff expires, I guess.
I am sure they do. And I hope they enjoy that site. I did like raislinks.com, so I'm a little saddened to see it go. They're not using it, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, nothing.
Maybe,
Okay, well,
maybe someday it'll be back.
why don't we go ahead and hit the music?
All right, let's hit that music.
Okay, for you folks on YouTube, thanks for watching, and I'm going to stop the live stream now.